What have I learned from a year of rental karting as a hobby? Rental karting as a hobby has been quite exciting for me. It's a nice thrill when I've had a bad or boring week. Otherwise, it's fun to just try and beating my best time, competing against myself and other drivers. It's been a great year doing some of my first races, and now I would like to share the things I've learned from my first year of rental karting frequently. So first of all, don't pressure yourself too much. When I first started karting, I did overestimate my abilities. During regular weekend sessions, many new drivers come to have fun with friends, so the overall skill level is generally quite low. This might lend you the day's best time, boosting your confidence, until a seasoned driver shows up and sets a new week record. So the real challenge emerges when you start competing seriously. Suddenly you might go from consistently placing first or second during regular sessions to finishing last or near the back of the pack in longer races. This can be quite humbling, but it's important to not pressure yourself too much. Remember, those experienced drivers have hundreds or thousands of hours on track, while you may only have tens of hours. It's easy to think you're not cut out for rental karting, but it's just unnecessary pressure. Trust in the process of gaining experience, use races as learning opportunities, and observe how other drivers take their racing line, and observe as much as you can in general. Don't watch too many videos about regular karting or about the wrong setting. When I started out, I watched a lot of K-Tips and Cameron's videos, but most of their content is like more for outside driving or high-level karting. When you're not at a semi-professional level, these tips might actually hinder you from getting better, because you need to make some mistakes first and learn from them. And people drive differently in general, in lower levels. Like, also, you need to get to know how to handle your kart properly first and the track before advancing into these advanced driving techniques, basically. I found out that keeping in mind the advice from many of these videos actually made me worse at lap times. It's better for me to drive with a clear mind and focus on what feels right, pay attention to how good drivers take their lines on your specific track. And once you start getting very good at your local track, like top 100, then these advanced tips may start becoming more of a factor than at the start. But keep in mind, if these videos are about outside driving tracks and you're in an inside track, they might not translate. So I find there's not too much advice for beginner to intermediate level indoor rental karting. So that's why I'm making videos too, right? Another one, don't focus on fancy gear too much, focus on your driving. So I see people with little experience having bought a fancy carbon fiber helmet and a slick suit with matching gloves and boots, and then drive worse than me, like a guy in jeans and a motorcycle helmet. Okay, I do show up with two cameras and everything, so that might look like I'm having a lot of fancy gear, but that's just for making these videos, so that's a different thing. My gear in general is quite cheap. I've made some videos about what gear to buy as a beginner and another one as an intermediate driver. So check those out if you want to have a look at what I think would be your best gear. And focus on what you need at a minimum to drive well, but I would spend the money more on sessions than on fancy gear. That'll serve you better in the long term, I'd say. And try to keep your budget for gear below €200, dollars or pounds, so around that mark. That brings me to managing your budget. So recently I made a video about how much I've spent on a year of rental karting, and I was surprised to how much it did add up to. Managing your budget is important for driving, I think, because you'll go and a lot of the times you're going to have fun on track, and then it becomes tempting to buy additional sessions to keep the fun going. But in my opinion, it's smarter to schedule a certain number of times that you go regularly, then give yourself the possibility to add a certain number of sessions per month, quarter or year. It's better to just let it sink in a bit and go more frequently than just go more and then less frequently, because it adds up to too much money. Also, choose which races to take part in, as these will cost a lot more than sessions. Um, per minute they add up to about the same, but you have a lot more minutes in a race than in a session, so be careful with that. And then for me, I think the schedule would work up to 2 sessions every other week and 1 race per quarter. I'll also allow myself to have like 1 extra session per month. Usually tracks give one for free if you drive frequently, so that should stay within budget. And I think it would keep it to around 100 euro per month. Yeah. Another one, film your sessions if you can. So filming sessions has proven to be quite beneficial to me. I wanted to make YouTube videos, but watching myself drive and comparing the best runs to the previous runs gives a lot more insight to what racing lines work better, what did I do during my best laps, what am I doing wrong again. It's a great tool to learn how to be better on your local track. And of course you can make YouTube videos like I do. Feel free to, if you already do that, let me know. It's always fun to see some other guys making videos, so yeah. Try to get along with other drivers. It's the same thing on YouTube. Try to get along with other YouTubers. So I'm not a YouTuber, I don't get paid for this, but try to hang out and approach other drivers in the cafeteria, next to track when you're not driving, in the pit lane. They're most likely willing to share your passion for karting, and maybe they can make some friends on the long run, at least some buddies for on track. Try to find people to drive with on track regularly. This will not only push you to try and beat them or catch up with them, but also provide you with a good social dynamic and potential teammates for future races, of course. So that's some of the lessons/side notes I've learned in the past year. I hope they were useful to you in some way. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until the next video, bye bye.